The pick is in for the Pittsburgh Steelers' first round 6 selection, and with pick 178 in the 6th round, the Steelers have selected defensive tackle Logan Lee of Iowa. So far in the 2024 NFL Draft, it's been all about the trenches for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They picked offensive line round 1, offensive line round 2, offensive line round 4, addressed the offensive trenches early in the draft, but now they address the defensive trenches in round 6, picking defensive tackle Logan Lee. And this is more about depth for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they already have starters at the defensive lineman, for example, Cameron Heyward, Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton. But now they have Logan Lee to be in rotation with those guys. If someone gets injured, he's there. If someone needs a breather, he's there to be the backup. And he's a big guy. He stands at 6'5" and 3/8 inches. He weighs 281 pounds, and he's pretty quick on his feet. He ran a 5.05 40-yard dash time. Now, let's get right into who Logan Lee is and his draft profile. So looking at Logan Lee, he's from Ouran High School and was rated a 3-star recruit by ESPN and handed a 4-star grade by 247 Sports. After high school, Lee joined Iowa after being heavily recruited by them. In 2020, as a freshman, we saw Lee get action in just 2 games and played a total of 24 snaps for the Hawkeyes. He only recorded 1 tackle, no assist, while adding no stops. But as a sophomore for the Hawkeyes in 2021, Lee played now in 14 games, so he played way more, and that took part in 492 snaps for the Hawkeyes, and that allowed him to record 18 tackles, 17 tackle assists, and adding 14 stops. And as a pass rusher, he chalked up 9 total pressures, 4 total quarterback hurries, 2 quarterback hits, and 3 sacks during that year. And in 2022, as a junior, Lee played in 12 games, 561 snaps this time, so even more, and he recorded 23 tackles, 15 assists, 19 stops, and as a pass rusher, 20 pressures, 12 quarterback hurries, 5 quarterback hits, and 3 sacks on the year. And then this past season, Lee, as a senior, played once again in 14 games and logged even more snaps, 749 for the Hawkeyes. And he added 27 tackles, 17 assists, 21 stops, and put in 28 total pressures, including 20 quarterback hurries, 6 quarterback hits, and 2 sacks on the season. So even though he did not really play his first 2 years that much, the next 3 years, every single season, he got more playing time, and with the playing time, he got better. And he's not just a player who's there to stop the run. You would think, hey, he stands at 6'5", weighs 281 pounds, he's going to be there to stop the run. Well, no, he could do both. He could stop the run, but also, as you see, he could pressure the quarterback. And getting pressures from a defensive tackle is huge at the next level, because very rarely do we see that happen on a consistent basis. But with Lee, it happens all the time. But now, looking at what Lee could bring to the Pittsburgh Steelers and bring to the football field, well, you look at him, and he has been healthy throughout his career. In the last 3 seasons, he was a starter and did not miss 1 game. And also, he's a player who plays with a high motor and effort to the whistle. He's someone who never gives up on a play and is always working. Even if he has no chance, he's still working to get his job done. He also has strong hands and plays strength to kind of yank blockers and kind of move them. He has solid lateral agility as well and quickness. He's pretty quick on his feet. He's only 281 pounds for a defensive tackle, so he is quick on his feet, even though his size in terms of height is big. He's also solid at shredding blocks. Like I said, he's able to get off of the offense line quickly to get pressures on the quarterback. And he put enough pressure on the blocker to kind of force them to hold them very often. He drew a lot of penalties in terms of being a blitzer and getting to the quarterback because of the swim move he has to get over the lineman. And once again, that's another strength of his. He has very great moves in terms of rushing the passer, and very rarely do we see that with defensive tackles. So he also chases the ball everywhere, wherever the ball goes. If the running back is kicking it to the outside, he's going to chase you down. If the quarterback is on the move, he's going to chase you down. So there's a lot of starting experience from him. There's a high motor from him, and it shows on tape with these being his strengths. However, the concerns for him is every snap was on the right side of the formation in most of the games. Most of the games, he mainly got stuck on the right side of the defense line, so there's not really much tape of him playing the left side of the defense line. Another thing that is a concern with him is he's a little bit of a tweener, and he struggles in traffic. He mostly relies on his quickness and his nimble feet and his arms kind of swim move to get past the offense line, and he doesn't really play with that much functional strength or power in his game. And at defense tackle, usually you want players to play with the power. He's kind of like the DeMarvin Leal type of player. When he came into the league, he was labeled the same thing, a tweener, and this is what Logan Lee will be labeled because he does stand at 6'5" and only 281 pounds. He's not even in the 300 threshold, but you look at him and he, like I said, he relies on kind of being the person to get past you with the moves that he has, not really driving you back and being the power type of defense lineman that sometimes you want to see happen. So that's kind of the weakness of his game, and sometimes that doesn't stand up well when in the run game and gets pushed back a little bit. But overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers, this pick is more of a depth pick for them. They have a solid defense line right now. They have solid edge rushers. Yes, Cameron Heyward is getting older, but as of right now, they filled Keanu Benton in the second round to kind of take over for Cameron Heyward when he retires. They still have Larry Ogunjobi, who is quite young as well. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just need another body on the field. They need some players who are going to be able to be in rotation with them and hopefully actually provide production. Like, just say Isaiah Loudermilk, for example. He got drafted late in the 4th round, 5th round, I believe, a few years ago. He hasn't really seen the field as much. He's been in rotation as well. DeMarvin Leal has not seen the field as much as well, but injuries happen. Players are tired. They get rotated a lot, especially when teams start doing hurry-up offense. So these players that the Pittsburgh Steelers are drafting later in the draft, they're more of a depth piece and someone who's going to fill in when needed. You're not going to expect them to be a day one starter. You're not going to expect them to be out there and be the top guy right away. And like Mike Tomlin always says, there's always things you can learn. And he has to be able to coach up the guys. The coaches on the team have to be able to coach. You're not just going to pass on a player because of technique when you believe you could coach. That's their job to do, coach them up. So coaching up Logan Lee, he'll learn a lot of things that he's missing in his game. And once again, this is a depth piece for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As we sit in the 6th round, that's all you're really going to get. Unless you hit on someone, more than likely, at this point in the draft, all the top guys are gone and you're picking depth. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, round 6 selection, they still have another one in this year's draft. But this is the first one they select. Pick 178, Logan Lee out of Iowa. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about this selection. Would you have gone a different position? And also, who do you want the Steelers to select with their last and final pick in the 6th round? Also, how do you feel Logan Lee could fit into this team? And do you believe what I'm saying and he's just a depth piece? Or do you believe he could be more than that? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. One thing I thought I would add at the end of this video that I just found out, Logan Lee said that he grew up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So it's another player that grew up a fan of the Pittsburgh, just like their round 1 selection, just like their round 2 selection. And also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I covered everything in the draft so far. Every player, I made a profile on them. If you want to see their introduction, it's on the channel. Go ahead and check it out. I'll continue to do so with every player we draft, every trade that's made, every move, and all the undrafted guys as well. So subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Like this video. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.